You are what I'm looking for. I know what I'm looking for.
In today's video, I wanted to shop my stash. I wanted to create a card project using products I already had. I had this DIDN Time to Coast stamp set, and I really love the sentiments in it. So I'm going to create a card for my boss using this stamp set. So I picked up these plastic cutting boards from the dollar store. I thought they'd be great to ink blend on, so I'm going to try those out. I have a piece of DIDN heavyweight cardstock, and then I have some mint tape, and I'm going to use this as a mask. So I've got my ink pad holder and some ink blending brushes and a few different colors. I'm going to make a sunset background, and for my water part, I'm going to use 3 colors of blue from DIDN. We're going to use powder blue, blue denim, and in the navy. And I'm going to work my way from my lightest color to my darkest color, and I'm not really trying to blend too much. I do want a little bit of texture, but DIDN inks dry back to a smooth airbrushed finish. So I'm going to ink up my little ocean, and then I'll peel off my release paper and flip it over and mask off my water and create a beautiful sunset sky. So again, I'm starting with that powder blue on the top, and then I'm using Gina K Dusty Rose, Sweet Mango, and Sweet Corn. And I'll blend all of those colors together. I'm making sure to apply all of my colors in rainbow order so that they blend together nicely and create nice transitions of color between them. And then I'm going to pull my mint tape back in and punch out a little circle, and I'm going to use it to mask off a little sun. So I'm just going to go back over with the yellow and orange colors, just lightly blending over top of my mask, and then when I peel it away, you'll see a faded yellow sun behind it. And I like the way that looks. So it's not stark white, there's some color behind it, but there's also a nice sort of halo glowing around the sun. And when I peel up my mint tape here, we've got this gorgeous background. It's just missing a little bit. We need a little bit of texture here. Since my water looks far too calm, I want to add to it. But first I'm going to add the reflection of the sun in the water. So I grabbed a paintbrush and some water, and I just sprayed it onto my little craft mat here. And I'm just going to paint some kind of squiggly lines to make it look like the sun reflecting off the water. And so I tried this with my water and my paintbrush, but I wasn't thrilled with the results. It was too sort of subtle, and I needed this to really stand out more than it is. So I'm going to grab some white pigment ink and use my paintbrush to put in some rough little marks to make it more prominent, so more of a standing out reflection in the water. And I'm really going for a realistic look here. So I tried a few different sort of swiping techniques and extra ink, less ink, and I was happy with the way it turned out. And then I decided to add some movement into the water. So just swiping back and forth. And then I'll do the same thing and add some little kind of floaty clouds. I don't want anything that looks, you know, like cartoony. I just want swipey wisps of white in the background to create a little bit of sort of sunny, cloudy day look. And then lastly, I'm going to grab a Nouveau Shimmer pen, and I'm just trying to prime my brush here so that that sparkle comes out. If you've ever seen the sun reflect off the water, it's blinding and sparkly. So I thought that this would add that perfect little sparkle. And then we've got these little tufts of white sort of waves. It makes the water look like it's moving around. And I think I accomplished what I was aiming for. So I love the way that looks. I'm going to pull out the tiniest little bird from that set. And I'm going to stamp a couple of little birds kind of off into the sunset and floating away into the distance. So, and of course, odd numbers are always more appealing to the eye. So I stamped 3 birds to the right of my little sunset. I figured it's time to add my little ship into the water. So I have a little sailboat here, and for my ink I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink. This is a dark pigment ink. It takes a little bit longer to dry, so you want to be careful that you're not smudging your ink. So I've stamped my boat in the water. I think I've called it 3 different things: a sailboat, a boat, and a ship. It's whatever you want it to be. So I stamped my sentiment in sort of nestled in between those birds, and I'm just grabbing my heat tool to dry off my ink so I don't smudge it. So I'm just going to heat set that ink, and my paper does warp a little bit when using the heat tool, so I flip it over and heat from the back as well, and it just kind of helps combat some of that warping to help smooth it out. Once I'm confident that the ink is dry, I'm going to trim this panel down. I trimmed this down to 4.5 by 6.5, and then I took a piece of black cardstock and matted the edge around to give us a little tiny black border around the edges of our little art piece here. And then I'm going to pop it up with some foam tape to create a thick, substantial feel to this card, and it gives it nice dimension. And there we go. I'll pop that on the front of my card, and we've got this beautiful, inspiring sentiment. A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. So I really like that. Work has been quite stressful and a lot of things going on, and I just thought my boss could use a little pick-me-up. This with a bottle of wine is going to make his day. Alright, so that's going to be it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed this quick Let's Make a Card project using things I have in my stash. I didn't buy any new crafts, I didn't spend any money, I shopped my stash and I made a beautiful card. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I'd love to have you along my paper crafting journey. Coming up on screen is a full playlist of a whole bunch of Let's Make a Card ideas. I hope that you'll check those out. Have yourself a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!